Hello, hosts and travelers. Welcome to the podcast, Hosting Your Home. Each day around the world, millions of guests stay in other people's homes using the Airbnb platform. Debbie Herdert looks for stories that come from these connections to share them with you. Now listen in as we hear stories that teach us the human side of hosting your home.
Emily is a dynamic young woman. She is a wife and a mom of 2 little girls and a professional photographer. She is not a professional interior design person, but she sure has some great style. I met Emily about a year ago, just as she was beginning to open her Airbnb, her brand new Airbnb, and this interview is so fun about where she has gone since the time I first met her to where she is right now. Sit back, get a cup of coffee if you can, and just enjoy.
Okay, here we are in the home of Emily Andrews, an Airbnb hostess. Hi, Emily.
Hi. How's it going?
Great to be here.
Good. Yay.
Thanks for talking with us.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your Airbnbs, what you're doing in life right now?
Yes. I started Airbnb. I had a vacant property next to my photography studio, and I thought it might be fun to decorate it and have guests stay at an Airbnb. So I had a friend come over and take a look. She did Airbnb, and she said, "This is great. Get it up." So I decorated it, got it up, and instantly had bookings for the rest of the summer. It was awesome.
And can you describe the little house?
Yes, so it's 117 years old. It has tons of charm. And the coolest part that people really are attracted to is the yard. Because I'm a photographer, I have all these different photography sets. I have a beach set and an Italian trellis, and so people feel like they're transformed into this different world.
It is amazing, too. I love looking at it and wandering around your little pathways. It's like being in the middle of a little village.
Little Disneyland.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Very artistic and nice.
Yeah.
Did you do that artwork yourself?
I did a lot of it. I have a handyman that kind of helps me out.
And the gardening, too, is exquisite. Did you?
The garden, I get some help from my mom.
Wonderful.
And there's a lot of fake plants in there so that it looks green year-round.
Didn't even notice that.
So real gardening experts come and they go, "I didn't know this was in bloom now," and they touch it and then they're just blown away.
Oh, how funny.
But it looks good in the photograph, so that's all that matters.
And so your house is how many bedrooms and bathrooms?
So it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Okay.
There was a clawfoot tub in there, which was a real attraction. Or if you've ever showered in a clawfoot tub, it's not really a great experience.
Right.
So I actually just took out the clawfoot tub. I sold it on Craigslist and put in a walk-in shower, which is a more enjoyable experience. There's a little kitchen, and then it's just real open air, and it's right across the street from the farmer's market, which is awesome. So,
and you are located in the heart of Beaverton, Oregon.
Yep. Downtown Beaverton, Oregon, and people go, "How do you book people in Beaverton, Oregon?" But Portland is a booming metropolis, and Beaverton is the home of Nike, Intel, and people want to move here. They love it here, the climate, and there's a lot of outdoor activities, so it's fun. I've had all kinds of different guests.
Wonderful. And you said you were booked right away.
Right away.
And how have you stayed booked?
It's been pretty darn booked.
Did I ask you when you started this?
Last July.
Last July.
So July 1st, I went on a tour with my friend and said, "Should I do this?" I tried to rent it as a gift shop, and I just couldn't find anyone. I was trying to, maybe $1,000 a month bring in from a gift shop, and just couldn't find the right fit. So July 1st, she took a look around it and said, "Oh, this is cool, get this up." So July 10th, I put it up. I had it all decorated. A lot of stuff I had, or I went to garage sales and furnished it. Mm-hmm. And I put it up July 10th at night, and the next morning I woke up to 8 or 9 reservations. Like, "We want to book tomorrow. We want to book the next day. We want to book next month." So, yeah.
So do you have any idea of how many nights you are booking per year, or how many reservations you're taking, or anything like that?
I would say from July through December, we were booked 90% of the time.
That's wonderful.
It was really booked solid. January, February, I found her a little bit slower, but I've dropped the rate a little bit, and I've got some long-term people staying in there.
Do you change the rates then from like the deep winter to the higher summer season?
Definitely. Summer booked solid, so it's it's more per night.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And you usually are you trying to focus on a particular niche?
I don't really have a niche. I would say creative people that really appreciate the yard and the charm of the house. I love going to garage sales, and my husband always jokes because he goes, "You can't make a living going to garage sales."
Yes, you can.
And I'm like, it's so fun. Yeah. So I love finding unique pieces that I can incorporate in. I know when I like to travel, I like just kind of cool decor. Things don't have to match. I think sometimes when they're decorating their Airbnbs, they go to IKEA is the first stop, and you don't have to do that.
And you've done a beautiful job. I have to say that you have a lot of tasteful decorations. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, on a budget.
So
it's really fun.
That's what makes it more fun.
Yeah.
So great. So then what happened?
So then I booked up. And it was amazing, and I met these amazing families. I photographed a couple of them. My most favorite guests were 2 gay guys from Israel. They had a surrogate mom in Portland, Oregon that delivered twin baby girls.
Oh my gosh!
And so they stayed with me for 6 weeks, and they were like brand new dads.
They brought their babies home to your house?
Yes. They checked in, and the very next morning the mom went into labor and delivered the babies. So they stayed with one of their moms. So they were all from Israel, and then this little old lady, I think she was probably in her 70s or 80s, kind of helped them, and it was in November, so they had the heat cranked up for these little babies, but I photographed them and I did their passport photos, and it was just a really cool story.
Fabulous story.
Yeah. And I found out that Portland, Oregon is the #1 surrogacy city in the world for gay couples.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. So there's a doctor that apparently has a great success rate and is a decent price. I think it's $90,000 as opposed to $120,000.
Holy moly!
Yeah,
It is so interesting.
And then I have an upcoming guest, which I am super excited about. That they lived in Utah. He sold his company, some kind of software company, to Snapchat last year for $43 million.
Wow!
And instead of buying a big house and a couple cars, they decided to go travel the world. So they've been to Indonesia, Australia, the Tonga, and now they're coming to stay with me in Beaverton, Oregon for a month.
That is amazing.
Like
in this little 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. So it's been super. So they have a 1 and a 3-year-old, and they're just traveling the world. They're just, So
isn't it just amazing how Airbnb or short-term rentals, if you will, just kind of cut through cultural differences?
Definitely.
I just love that.
Yes. And as a photographer, I've had a photography studio for the past 14 years. It's been great because I love people and I love telling their stories. And this is the same, it's just a different platform in telling stories.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of a unique, fun experience.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell us the rest.
Okay,
There's
so
more.
then I got so excited about this that in my slower time at the studio, I thought, why not rent out half of my studio? So I converted it into an Airbnb, and I've had guests stay here, and then I converted my garden shed into a beautiful little Airbnb tiny house that has a bathroom, and then they get to enjoy the yards too. And I envision in the summer that other guests will meet other guests, and it'll be this just community fun thing.
For our listeners, I want them to understand that you have a studio, photography studio, that actually is a house.
Yep.
On a fairly busy street in Beaverton.
Yep.
Is also a part of a rental, correct?
Yep.
So you've got how many bedrooms here?
So this is 2.5 bedrooms.
Okay, 2.5 bedrooms in your big studio house.
Yep.
Right next door is the 100-year-old 3-bedroom 1-bath house.
Yep.
And right behind that is a little used to be garden shed, which is now a small studio that you rent.
Right. And I think we said it's about 250 square feet or
something
so.
like that.
Yeah.
And in the center of all this area, you've got a beautiful landscaped common area for. Well, it's just wonderful. People are just going to have to go to your website, and see
and
that.
it's on the bus stop. Max is 5 blocks away. There's a coffee shop that's a 24-hour coffee shop. The park is 2 blocks up the way. The farmers market in the summer is every Saturday, and then in the winter it's every other Saturday. So, Beaverton, Oregon, people always, Beaverton, Oregon, what? But it's really a cute little town.
It is.
And it's just about 15 minutes away from downtown Portland,
Right.
so it's very convenient. Parking is not an issue for people. So that's fun.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
There's more.
There is more.
There's always more.
There is always more with Emily.
And
Yes.
Emily has
Yes.
definitely been bitten by the bug.
Yes.
But before we talk about more,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about you. What is going on with you in your personal life?
So I'm married. I have 2 little girls that are 5 and 7. And one of my goals this next year was to spend more time with them. So photography keeps me busy. I did about 350 photography sessions last year.
Wow.
Mostly family and children. And I go to the beach and I do portraits and I go here and there. But I've always loved decorating and just being a hard worker to get projects done. Like they always say give it to the busiest person. So give it to me, I will get it done.
Wow.
I just make sure that I get things done.
So a busy mom of 2 and a wife
Yeah.
and a professional photographer.
Yep.
And an Airbnb manager of 3 properties.
Yes.
Well,
A busy life.
yes.
But I love it. I love every minute of it.
That is
So,
a full-time life that we've
Yeah.
just talked about.
Yeah.
But there's more.
There's more. So my dad recently moved into town, and he kind of got bit by the bug too. So he bought a big, beautiful house on 2 acres in West Lynn, Oregon, which is about 20 minutes from here, 25 minutes. So it's a house, and then it has a guest house. Well, he's single, so he lives in the guest house and has rented out his house on Airbnb. So I am managing that for him. It has a vineyard and a pond and a waterfall. It looks out on the Willamette Valley, and there's beautiful, like, people ask if there's animals. We've seen deer and there's ducks, but his neighbors have horses and llamas and pigs that you can see.
Fabulous.
And it's just really fun to
great.
watch the sunsets out there.
And so how big is this house? How many people live?
It sleeps 12, so it's significantly larger than my house. But what we found is that a lot of people are in town for weddings, and they just want to all stay together as a family.
Yes.
So we've met some great people that way. But, even though it sleeps 12, we hosted 2 ladies that were in seminary. They were pastors, and they were in town for 2 weeks at a class, and they didn't want to stay at a hotel. So they stayed there because it was a little quiet retreat. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Does he have a hot tub there too?
He has a hot tub for his guest house.
I see.
I don't know. The maintenance on a hot tub.
Okay.
It's under debate still. But if they're really nice, he actually had offered it to the ladies, and I think they used it. So that was kind of fun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then do you want me to talk about...
I do. I want you to tell us all about you.
Okay. So I've really been bitten by the bug because I ran into a friend of mine that from high school. I went to 7th grade with him, high school, college. And we both are entrepreneurs. So we have coffee every couple of years and just talk about business. And he let me know that he's a home builder and that he had a couple houses that he was going to rent on Craigslist. And I said, well, we should just furnish and put them on Airbnb. And so he said, go for it. So we've kind of started this management company. I got to furnish a 3,300 square foot new construction house.
Oh my goodness.
That was like a dream. So I love Joanna Gaines on Fixer Upper, Magnolia House.
Yes.
I just love everything about her, that she's a great mom, that she decorates, that she has a great balance to her. So I kind of see that. I see me scaling down my photography and being able to decorate because as an Airbnb host or a vacation rental host, I can be with my kids all the time. I mean, I might be on the computer a lot, but they can help me decorate.
Yes.
People love it when I bring them to check them in. Like, they get to know the guests, and they're, oh, these are your kids. It's just that story and connection with people that I really love. So I have one so we started, and I furnished this house, so we have one house up, and then I'm decorating a second house, which is just a couple miles from my house, for this friend of mine, Brian, and who knows what the future may bring. So it's exciting.
So at the moment, you have not only your 3, you've got your dad's, and then you've got 2
more
of your friends.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Do you try to meet and greet your guests? And if you do, can you Kind of walk us through how you do that.
So most of my guests, I don't meet and greet. I give them a specific door code and they can check in at their leisure. Mm-hmm. I have found that to be the way that I like to travel. So when we were in Paris last November for the Airbnb conference, we were running late. We had the wrong street name. It was really a struggle to get to where we were trying to go, and the messaging system wasn't working because our internet. And so if people have a door code and they can check in whenever, I feel like that's the best thing for my guests. Mm-hmm. Sometimes flights are delayed, they get in at midnight, but I always ask them to let me know that you got in okay and if you need anything. Right. So I'm very communicative with them, but not over excessive. I always like to leave something a little extra for them. Okay. So I just bought 5 cases of Girl Scout cookies. Oh. And people love that. Yes. Who doesn't love Girl Scout cookies? Right. So that's been a great little touch. And we always leave bottled water because I know that when I travel, you get dehydrated and you just want a bottle of water. So leaving those little extra things, I think, can be a big thing. If it's pouring down rain, I'll make sure that there's umbrellas left. So I kind of let them come and go. Some people I never meet. Some people I make a point to meet because they sound like interesting people. Mm-hmm. Yes. But if it works out in our schedule, great. And if it doesn't, these last guests came. They stayed for 4 days, and I kind of gave them their privacy. I said hi to them, and after they left, they let me know they were photographers. And I was like, what?
Oh, my goodness.
Why didn't you tell me? I totally would have come over and hung out. And so it was just that, I don't know. So, it just kind of depends. Yeah. But that's what's worked well.
Have you had any bad experiences or anything that, has been a little iffy for you?
I had one. I put it on Instant Book for just a short time, and I got an Instant Book. And it was a guy that looked younger, and it sounded like they just kind of wanted a place to party or something. Mm-hmm. So I left it, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? They actually left the place in great condition, but when I saw the recycling bin, it was like 12 bottles of alcohol. So at least they had a good time, whatever. So there have been a couple people that have rearranged the furniture, which is just slightly annoying. But you know what? If they had a good time, what do I care? Okay. I think the latest, worst one, but first world problems, they smoked pot, which it's legal in Oregon, okay. But they did it on the side of my studio. So my photography studio smelled like pot.
Oh, no.
So that was a little interesting. We just lit some candles, and that was fine, whatever. But, if that's the worst that happens, then,
Our last guest left us 2 little piles of weed and a little pot pipe on the table with a little gift, I guess, when they left.
Maybe they couldn't travel with it.
Maybe that was it. They were going back to Texas or something.
Yeah, they couldn't travel with it. Oh, funny. My gosh. Yeah. So, but I have been surprised and blown away at the respect that people have shown my properties.
Oh, good. Yes.
I mean, everyone leaves it in great condition. Sometimes they make the beds. I'm like, I gotta unmake them anyway. But I don't want to leave a whole huge instruction sheet on, do the dishes and, right. Like at the beach, sometimes we've stayed at some properties and there's a whole turn the heat down, and it's a process. It's like, I want this to be fun. If you want to do dishes, then great. But if you don't, there's a cleaning fee for a reason. So however your traveling experience is, that's fine. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you use a cleaning service? Or
I have a high school girl that I've trained that it's been great because it's flexible hours for her. She can clean after school. And she's done a great job. Mm-hmm. It has taken training, though.
Yes.
Because I have her clean, I have a checklist, and then I have to go back over things with her to really ensure that she does a good job.
This is different than a regular cleaning job because of the whole, there's just more, it's just different. Not necessarily more, but different.
I've heard that people hire cleaners and stagers, and I think that's an interesting thing because it's cleaning, but I also want it staged, like, the towels need to be in a certain place, and they need to look pretty, and the pillows need to be the way I want them.
Yes.
Because it matters.
Yes.
It really does.
It does matter. Well, this is fabulous. You've just given us some great information.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything more that you would like to say?
I love it. I think that Airbnb is such a benefit because it has enabled me to open my eyes to a whole new set of creativity with this decorating, spending time with my kids, but ultimately it's some extra income that I can now travel. So we are excited as a family to go reach out and go travel to different Airbnbs. I've gone to Paris and we went to Sisters, Oregon. And it's interesting because all of my rentals are very, they're their own entity. They're not a shared space. And when we went to Sisters, Oregon, there weren't any just available spaces that were not shared. So it was the Best Western or shared space. So I thought, I'm going to try the shared space. What's the worst that could happen? It was the most beautiful, lovely experience, and now we're friends. So she's been up to Portland several times. She stayed with me. I've kept in contact with her.
I think I've met her too.
Yeah, Josephine.
Yes, what a lovely person. Yes.
And so it was the best. I am so glad that we did the shared space. She let us into her home, and it's really this connection with people, which is what I just absolutely love.
That's great.
So, yeah.
So, Emily, if any of our listeners want to get in touch with you, what
Yes.
would be a good way for them to do that?
I will give you the information, and then you can add it to the end of the podcast.
Okay, we'll put it in the podcast notes.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. That was so exciting and fun.
Wasn't that conversation fun? And evidently Emily had a good time too. Ooh, it was really great. So to see Emily's places and to see some of her awesome photography, go to the show notes and you will see some links to her Airbnb sites. And that is found at www.hostingyourhome.com. And if you'd like to take a minute to leave me a note, we would love to hear from you too. Take care. Bye-bye.